I don't know where. Testing. Good.
Got sound.
Okay, good morning, everybody. We had some more problems. We don't know how to do what we're doing really well. But anyway, we are live now. We're running a little late. But we're gonna go ahead and do this no matter what. This is the work that we're supposed to do, and regardless of what issues and problems we have, we're gonna work through them. So I want to start out by thanking whatever energies are in the building for being here. I want to acknowledge that energies are part of life all around us, and that we need to welcome them all in. We want to, of course, thank my helpers, my wife, who is the cameraman or camera woman, and my brother, who is the technical person, and we don't blame him for the technical problems because it's a group effort here to get this all together, and ultimately I am in charge of this. We do want to bring a few things to your attention. We want to welcome you. I am Chaplain Keith of Good Heart Church, and we want to make sure that you're aware that this video can be watched even after the live viewing of it. It's always on YouTube, and we're asking you definitely to make comments. Even if you don't like what we're saying, tell us what you want to hear. Tell us why you don't like it, so I can learn from you. I need to learn things too. I'm not here for just to try and tell you things. I want to learn from you as well. So make sure you do the comments, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and share it with other people so that they can be in the discussion with the rest of us at some point. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. I don't know if I have any other announcements. Because of our little bit of our issues this morning, I've sort of lost train of my thought of what I was going to say at the beginning here, but we're going to now go ahead and start with a prayer to whoever your deity is. We want you to pray to them, ask for their guidance today, ask for their way of whatever it is that you want to ask for today, whatever it is that you want to do. I do want to say right before we go into this prayer, this is one other thing I wanted to say is that you can reach me. We don't have the website up yet, but you can reach me at fellowship@goodheartchurch.org. So you can reach me for whatever questions you might have that you don't want to put on comments on the YouTube, and we'd be happy to address them, or questions or comments. So please feel free to do that. Again, that's fellowship@goodheartchurch.org. So now let's take a moment, silence, preparing for the day, preparing for the fellowship gathering that we're having today. Speak with your deity for a few moments. Boom. Now let's sit here for a moment now that we are done with our praying. Try to relax. Go into a mini meditation. Just relax. Starting at the top of your head. Relax your scalp. Relax your temples. Take that forehead and take the crease out from in between your eyes and relax your head, your forehead, and then go down and relax your eyelids and your eyes. Relax your cheekbones, your jaw. Dropping your tongue to the bottom of your mouth. And relax your neck. Drop your shoulders away from your ears as you relax your shoulders. Relax your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. With each breath out, you should relax another part of your body. Go ahead and relax your upper back and your chest, your belly, and your lower back. As you relax your hips and your buttocks, sink into whatever it is that you're sitting in without without forcing yourself down. Relax your upper legs, your knees. Relax your lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. Take a few moments now to continue to relax and just listen to whatever the guidance you might get today so that you may be able to gather what it is you're supposed to gather today from this gathering and be part of whatever it is to experience in this day. If you have prayed and you have relaxed yourself into the day, to come back to this room or whatever room you're in. Come back to the state of mind that you can gather what it is that you're guided to gather. And give yourself to your deity, to yourself, to your spirit, that you may be part of the universe. Okay, so today we want to discuss being a free thinker. What do I mean by being a free thinker? What I mean by that is simply think for yourself. And don't let the other people tell you how to believe, tell you how to think, tell you what to deal, how to be in this world. We are always being taught to be part of the status quo. And if we're not part of the status quo, we're told we're wrong. And so where are we taught that? We're taught that in school. We're taught that from the government, from society, from our religions. We're taught all those things that if we don't think the way everybody else thinks, that there's something wrong with us. But yet the free thinkers of the world are who change the world. That's how this world changes, is by people who go out of the norm. Um, that's mostly in science does that happen, that we can see as a general rule. But it's also inside other parts of society. We had Martin Luther King Jr., we have Malcolm X, all kinds of people who, even the hippie movement of the 60s, those were all free thinkers and helped change the world and helped to integrate life. We also had Einstein and Tesla and many of the other peoples back in the days of Socrates and Aristotle or Leonardo da Vinci, all free thinkers that helped to change the world. So we need to be the free thinkers. We need to think for ourselves and not join the status quo. If you're always wanting to be in a spiritual sense, if you want to be told how to believe, then in my opinion, you're not a true seeker. You are looking for somebody or some way to find something that you don't know how to find, and you're just accepting what other people say. Um, so question everything. Start questioning absolutely everything. Even question me. Question what I'm telling you. Go find out for yourself. Go find out what resonates with you, what your truth is, what the truth is that is being taught to us. There's many things that can be, and I can expand on this later if I get questions and comments from people, because I don't really know where people want me to be on this, but it's about questioning everything. It's about finding out your answers. There was at one point there was a young lady who every time she made spaghetti and she boiled her spaghetti noodles, she broke them in half to put them in the pan. She had a great big pan, but she always broke the spaghetti in half to put them in the pan. And one day her husband finally said to her, "Honey, why do you always break the spaghetti to go into the pan?" And she said, "Well, that's just the way my mother did it. That's what she taught me to do." He said, "Well, that makes no sense to me." So she went back to her mother and I said, "Mom," she said, "why is it that you break the spaghetti in half to put it into the pan when you cook spaghetti?" And her mother said, "Because my pot's not big enough to put the whole spaghetti noodles in at one time. I have to break them in half." She wasn't a free thinker. She just took what her mother said and said that was the way it had to be. She never questioned anything. Just a small little funny example of how we are so conditioned by society and people around us that we don't question and we just say, "Oh, that must be the way it is." You don't have to break the spaghetti noodles if you have a big enough pan. You don't have to believe what your neighbor believes, because you have a brain of your own, you have a heart of your own, and you can think through your heart and through your brain on your own. There's so much information out there that can be used to help you. Um, for instance, there are books out there. There are videos out there. And let's just talk a little bit about those books and videos. I'm not going to give you any books to read or anything, but let's just remember that there's what they call author bias in both books and videos. Maybe it's videographer bias. But my point is, we all have our own way of seeing things and thinking through things. But it's the common line between all the different books that you read. It's the common line that you see in the videos and in the books combined that might be what you're looking for to be the truth. It may not be what I'm telling you. It may not be what your neighbor's telling you, but there might be a piece of that that is there. There might be a piece of everything that can what weave together as the truth. So it's not just about reading and believing everything that the book says, or it's not just about watching videos or YouTubes or whatever else you might see or hear, or even having conversation with people. It's about finding the commonality that runs through society, the commonality that runs through spirituality, the commonality that runs through the universe. That's where the truth comes from, in my opinion. I had to learn that the hard way. Nobody told me this ahead of time, and I had to start seeing and saying, well, that doesn't sound right at all. But this little piece here does. And then another author would say something else, and I'd say, well, this little piece of it matches this piece of this other author, but some of the stuff, the fluff around it doesn't match. Well, the fluff around it is the author bias. So we have to think even when we're dealing with people that have knowledge, that have their way of seeing things. Not everything is exactly the way it's laid out. Okay, so we have to be aware of that. We have to understand also that there is a difference between faith and belief. We talk a lot about beliefs in here, but there is a major difference. Faith or belief is all in your head. It's what you have intelligence that you have gathered. Faith is in your heart. Faith is a knowing. Faith is where you should be at. Faith is what you're trying to bring in. You're trying to bring the truth into your heart, not into your head. Sometimes the truth ends up in your head and you have to move it to your heart. And that's where you get your affirmations from, your mantras, your repetition of saying the same thing to yourself all the time and trying to believe. I remember one time when I was driving down the roads in the town that I lived in at the time, and I was trying to stop judging people for their looks and so forth. And I would drive down the road, and as I saw people in their car, I would say, and that's a spirit, and that's a spirit, and that's a spirit, and that's a spirit. Putting the equality there. And that helped to bring it into my heart that every person is equal, that every person is a spirit in a human body, that every person deserves to be here because I'm not living their life. They are living their life and they deserve to be here because you don't come to earth just to be undeserving. One of my favorite sayings is, God didn't make any junk. We have to start thinking for ourselves. That's my opinion on it. How do we start thinking for ourselves other than reading and watching? Well, we have to be open to the guidance. We can ask for guidance. Now, that guidance, let's talk about mentorship for a minute, or spiritual advisors for a minute. We don't want to go out and choose a mentor or advisor that is going to dictate the way you believe. We want one that will guide you for you to find the truth. If they dictate how to believe and say their way is the only way, then they're more into ego, controlling, doctrine than they are into guiding a spiritual seeker to finding their own truth and doing their own research. A good mentor suggests things, but doesn't mandate them. A good mentor suggests probably books to read, questions to be answered. They might ask you questions that they don't expect an answer for at that moment, but for you to go out and find out for yourself. They're going to suggest ways of finding your truth, is like meditation, yoga, um, and all this will help to open your mind. All this will help to bring it in to you if you are open to guidance. But like I say, guidance, not dictation. Not somebody telling you what to believe, but guidance for you to find out. If you've ever listened to any sages, very few of them tell you. They talk in riddles, they talk in parables. They don't tell you what to believe. That's because you are to find out for yourself what it means. If they can possibly give you pointers on what kinds of things to look at, um, a lot of it is symbolism. A lot of times you have to find that symbolism, what that symbolism means. There's a lot of that in different in spiritual books, and that's what most sages do. Most sages, no matter what culture you're from, whether you're Native American or Hindu or Christian, or a lot of your sages talk in cryptic language so that you have to think. They'll say things and you'll scratch your head and say, "What in the world? That's pretty deep, but I don't know what it means." And then how do you find out what it means? Part of free thinking is going into a meditation. I am probably one of the biggest believers in meditation there is. The United States, the biggest religion in the United States is Christianity, probably. And I don't know how many of you were raised in those churches, but I've never known anybody that was raised in those churches that was taught to meditate. Why aren't you taught to meditate? Because you become a free thinker and you won't follow their doctrine. Doesn't mean that your spiritual books and scriptures are wrong. It means that the people that are telling you how to believe don't want you to believe any other way. They don't want you to figure it out for yourself, because meditation opens you up. And it doesn't just open you up to understand scripture or sutras or whatever your religious book talks through, but it also opens you up to receive guidance from other places, to receive guidance from your friends that have your best interests at heart, to receive guidance from the person walking down the street or the person you met in Walmart that says something you say, "Man, why didn't I think of that?" To receive what books you ought to be reading, to find when you read the books what resonates with you. And by the way, don't throw anything away that doesn't resonate with you. If you're seeing commonalities and you're just saying, oh, that's a bunch of hogwash, do you remember where you got that from? You don't have to resonate with you now, but I'm going to tell you, this has happened to me, that a few months down the road, a year down the road, whatever, those things start resonating with you a little bit more because you have now grown. You've done some more seeking and you've now grown, and you want to go back and maybe reread that and see how that starts to resonate with you. So don't throw things away just because they don't resonate with you at the moment. Be aware of them. Okay, so you want to question everything. And I know I already said that, but that is the way of creating your thinking. You want to start questioning things, contemplating things, meditating on with your higher power to bring in the right information for you. Work toward, as we spoke of last time we were here, we talked about raising vibrations. All of this helps to raise your vibration and starts to move you through your spiritual seeking in a different fashion. You start putting out more things. Your aura starts bringing out more, putting out more love, more compassion, more kindness. These kinds of things that get poured out of your aura because you're starting to bring them in. If you remember our vibration, you had to have the courage to change. So we want to, once you've made that courage to change, then yeah, things start changing. And your aura puts that out, and you start attracting different people into your world, into your life. And then you start getting more information and more information and more information from your friends, from the neighbors, from the strangers, from the meditations, from the books you read, from the videos you watch. All these things help to do it. It just keeps blossoming further and further and further into a more profound spiritual seeking. And here at this church, right now, all we're doing is these gatherings, but we will be expanding into other things over time. And we want to invite you to help with that, to bring your experiences to us, bring your understandings to us, bring your notions and your things that you found out through your seeking that will help everybody else. This is a discussion, not just talk by me. It's not supposed to be a monologue. It's supposed to be a discussion. And I'm only here to sort of help to bring the discussion out. So we certainly want more comments. We certainly want more people to join us. We do apologize, or I do apologize, for all the problems we've had in the last several weeks that we've been trying to get this going, but this is a learning curve. Live shows are not as easy as you think they are. I can do a video that I have in the past, many videos, where I record something, I put it on a computer, I edit it, and then I put it out there and it looks perfect. But it wasn't. So